Thank you, Ceann Comhairle. So, Taoiseach, we now have a racist, sexist, bigoted billionaire in the White House, or at least he'll be in the White House from the start of the new year. And I've listened to your comments today on that issue. You have pointed to the speech that Donald Trump made this morning, and you've expressed the hope that Donald Trump will heal divisions in US society. And you have indicated that it will be business as usual between the Irish government and the US administration. Taoiseach, I think you might be the only person in the country who believes that Donald Trump is going to heal divisions in US society. You might be the only person in the country who puts great faith and great stock in the words of Donald Trump this morning. I remind you that this is a man who has spoken in terms of 11 million deportations from the United States over the next period of time. You know, the idea that it's business as usual, let's make a few points about that. Now, Taoiseach, you have congratulated President-elect Trump. You have said that on behalf of the Government and the people of Ireland, I am pleased to offer our sincere congratulations to Donald J. Trump on his election as the 45th President of the United States. Those sentiments have been echoed by the leader of Fianna Fáil. They've actually been added to by a former leader of Fianna Fáil, who said we need to get into a love-in with the new administration. They've been echoed by Deputy Gerry Adams, and I would say to Gerry Adams in particular, right, Sinn Féin projects itself as a radical left-wing party. I doubt very much, Deputy, if there is the leader of any other radical or party that projects itself as a radical left-wing party anywhere in Europe or perhaps anywhere in the world who will be standing up in their parliaments today offering congratulations to Donald J. Trump. You should not be offering congratulations to Donald Trump, and I think a lot of your supporters will feel that you should not be doing that either. Taoiseach, your quote says that you're offering the congratulations on behalf of the people of Ireland. Well, you're not offering those congratulations in my name, and you're not offering those congratulations in the name of AAA-PBP, and I'm sure there will be a lot of people out there who will second my emotion in relation to that. I think instead the message that we would like to project today is a message for ordinary American people, those who are facing mass deportations, those LGBTQ people who are facing attacks on their rights, those working people who are facing attacks from an extremely right-wing administration. And we would call on those working people, those immigrant communities and those minorities to resist those policies, and we offer our support to those communities and to the resistance that is organised. Ceann Comhairle, Deputy Coppinger drew some comparisons between the policies of the Government and the leader of the new administration in the United States. I would like to make a couple of other comparisons. Mr. Trump has spoken in terms of putting up a wall between the United States and Mexico so as to stop immigration. There has been a certain amount of tut-tutting in the political establishment in Ireland and Europe about this and about the naked way in which those points have been explained by Mr. Trump at his rallies. But actually, is there a huge difference? I mean, we have a Fortress Europe policy in operation here in the European Union. We have a policy being implemented in the Mediterranean of physically blocking, stopping and preventing migrants attempting to come to Europe, to get to Europe, and large numbers of migrant men, women and children have drowned as a result of that. So I wonder, is there a massive difference there in reality? Mr Trump has spoken in terms of women who procure abortions in US states where abortion is not legal being punished. Now, he was forced to qualify his comments when there was a storm of opposition. But he said it. The administration in this country have actually done it in terms of law. The bill that was passed in the lifetime of the last Parliament, which means that a woman who procures an illegal abortion in this state can, under Irish law as it currently stands, face a jail sentence.
Really straying way beyond
of up
terms
to 14 years. I'll bring it back around, Ceann Comhairle, very quickly. Mr Trump has spoken in terms of reducing corporation tax from 35% to 15%, a low tax model which actually doesn't go as far as the government in Ireland with 12.5%. That model has produced massive inequality, poor funding for public services and a race to the bottom. Ceann Comhairle, I was born in the United States of America. I was born in the state of Ohio. It gives me a certain insight, I won't say more than that, into American politics and the attitudes of people in that country. I'm strongly of the opinion that if Bernie Sanders had stood as an independent, left, anti-establishment candidate in this election, that he could have and would have beaten Donald Trump. And I think it shows the need for the building of a radical left anti-establishment alternative. In the United States, there is a two-party system, Democrats and Republicans. In Ireland, there is a two-party system as well. It's been dominated by Fianna Fáil on the one hand and Fine Gael on the other. I listened to Minister Paschal Donohoe and to Michael McGrath make comments in the budget speeches here a couple of weeks ago, where they expressed the hope that the centre would hold. In reality, that the traditional right-wing parties would hold their grip on Irish politics. And I remember thinking that night that actually the points they were making, the hope they were expressing, it was off the mark, because it underestimated the effects of recent years on the mass of ordinary people. It underestimated the pain and anger that ordinary people feel, and it underestimated the mood and the desire for real change amongst those people. Now, unfortunately, Trump has tapped into not just the reservoir of misogyny and racism, but also to the justified anger that tens of millions of ordinary Americans feel against austerity politics. And I think the lesson in this country and in other countries throughout the world is that that positive sentiment, that mood for change, must be tapped. It can't be tapped by the establishment, because the mood is against the establishment. We don't want it to be tapped by the populist right. It must be tapped by the radical left in a positive and a progressive way, anti-racist, pro-women's rights, pro-workers' rights and anti the establishment. And AAA-PPP commits to redouble our efforts to build such a radical left alternative in this country, as I'm sure others will in other countries will as well. I think that is a key lesson of the events of the last couple of days. So in conclusion, Ceann Comhairle, I would ask the Taoiseach to comment on the following points. I would ask him to comment. Number one, how on earth can you put forward the idea that it's just business as usual and that there's been no change in the last 24 hours?
You've made all those points before, though, Deputy Barry. Okay,
I will conclude on this point, Ceann Comhairle, and finally, I'd like him to comment on the points that I've made about the similarities between his own policies and the policies of Mr Trump.
4 other deputies have sought supplementaries. We don't have time for that if we're going to get a response from the Taoiseach.
There's one question down here from Deputy Mick Barry to ask if he's had contact with outgoing US President Barack Obama, and if not, his plans to do so before the President relinquishes his office. We just listened to a 7-minute speech with no question at all. But I want to remind you, Deputy Barry, that you are an Ohioan. Okay, so you're living here in Ireland now. You're an Irish citizen. You have freedom of movement to 28 countries in what you call Fortress Europe. You can travel to any one of the 28 countries without any impunity, and maybe you do, maybe you don't. But it is business as usual today. The situation now is that the new President-elect will take up office on the 20th of January and appoint a new administration. And I've pointed out to Deputy Adams issues that we regard as being important and as a priority for us, a continuation of business that we've always had, support from the United States for the peace process in Northern Ireland and the Good Friday Agreement, continuous discussion about the rights of Irish men and women who happen to be undocumented in the United States, which is a particular bone of contention with us for quite a number of years. And we do hope that the people who have voted in the United States have voted for a change of influence in terms of the Congress and the Senate, and that now that it's controlled and will be controlled by the Republican Party, that they may put forward a comprehensive immigration bill which would deal with the undocumented Irish from our point of view. You seem not to accept the democratic result of the vote of the people of the United States. They voted by secret ballot and they elected and have decided to elect President Trump for the 20th of January as their 45th president. So I'm not sure that you're entitled to kind of give out to them for the decision that they've made. You're elected here by people as well, and you're entitled to be elected here, and everybody supports that democratic decision. But if you want to give out about the people in the United States with the AAA PPP, well, go over to Ohio and start there and campaign strongly against what you think is a decision that's anti-democratic. For us here, we will work with the new administration, as we have worked with all administrations over the last 50 years, in the interest of developing the links between Ireland and the United States, developing the links economically, socially and so on. I would point out to you that it's different than it used to be. Whereas we relied for centuries upon help from the United States, there are now 100,000 people who are employed by Irish-owned companies across 50 states.
Thank you,
and that's the kind of development we'd like to see in the time ahead.
Thank you very much.